Guys, welcome to the Mindset Status podcast. I have an incredible guest today, my very, very good friend, Adam Nasir, who's not only a multimillionaire, but he is a man with a very solid character. And today we spoke about everything from success, relationships, to climbing mountains and values, principles for becoming that version of yourself that reaches the peak. So stay tuned. So tell everybody how you made all your money.
I make my money scamming people,
Yep.
online courses,
Scamming people with courses.
e-com, and selling a bunch of like courses that don't work. So since we're on the sarcastic train, but no,
We have to make that clear for people who don't know who you are. This is my friend Adam Nasir, and honestly though, thank you so much for setting the time aside,
course,
because I
brother.
know you're a busy guy as well, and we did this fairly spontaneously, and I really do appreciate it. And showing appreciation for somebody's time is actually, I believe, one of the most important things in any relationship, be it friendship, professional as well.
Yeah,
And I'm mentioning that from the get go because this is something that I do want to talk about with you and get your thoughts on, which is as you've evolved, as you've grown, not only financially and professionally, but also as a person, because I know personal development is really important for you.
100%.
What have you noticed is important for you and no longer important for you? What do you prioritize in friendships and relationships? Why don't we start there?
All right, cool. So first, I'll just very quickly introduce myself. I do not sell scammy courses. That's a joke. I'm
For the record.
quite sarcastic, but I think at some point where you have enough success, you can just kind of fuck off and say what you want, which is nice. I really like that. So I am retired SaaS founder, built a B2B SaaS company, grew it to over 60 employees, first employee in the company, and then retired last year as the CEO.
Congratulations. At what age?
35, 35, turning
Retired at
36.
35.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Learned a lot. As you can see by my walking stick, you're probably wondering, what the fuck is this walking stick?
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute.
Because like anybody watching, they're like, what is this guy having a walking stick for?
What'd you got there, brother?
All right.
Is this what happens when you retire?
This is what happens when you get, well, it's a funny story because I retired last year. I had like the big, celebration, like highlight of your life kind of thing. And one of my friends was being a fucking dickhead. He's like, "Oh, you're an old man now. Let me get you a walking stick." So he got me this like cheap $20, 20-euro walking stick from Europe. And it looked like shit. And I just like went with it. I was like, this is actually fun. This is actually a lot of fun. And it became a symbol. And then think about that. Like, at any opportunity for anybody who's a marketer, it's like everybody has their brand, their symbol.
Yeah.
If you look at think of many famous people, they have like one thing that identifies with them.
Yeah.
And a walking stick, I was like, this is fucking gangster.
Yeah.
So I got this commissioned. This is a do you mind if I do it here?
Not at all. Go ahead. What you got?
Custom
Custom
knife. This costs about 10 G's. And Damascus steel. I mean, it's pretty hardcore.
$10,000.
Yeah.
Let me see that.
Yeah.
So I held this before, and what I noticed is I'm a big fantasy fan. Like I like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted a sword, and I've held a few swords, and this has such an amazing balance. Look at that, guys. I'm just holding it like this. It's perfectly balanced. So it's very high quality, and I feel like you're the kind of guy. When you do something, you want to do the best. If you get something, you want to buy it. Perfection, yeah.
Exactly. When you choose the vendor, I mean, even down to the symbolism. I mean, you probably see this bird at the top. This is the bird that's representative of my brand. Nasser means eagle in Arabic. I picked that name, and the eagle is the representative animal of me. And I always use this bird as symbolism. So this is the depth in life. I mean, at some point, it's like you have the money, you have the results, and cool. You see all the cool shit, but like beyond that, creating some symbolism in your life, personalizing it, telling a story for you, for your friends, for the life that you live, and also the generations that follow you.
So is that why you appreciate symbolism, because it tells a story?
Yes. I think stories are important because think about all the things you had to face. I had to face, anybody watching you have to face to get to the place that you're at today. why not put a story behind it? Why not let people know the struggle you had to go through to achieve the result? I mean, if you climb a mountain, you want people to know the story about how that, unfolded. And not only is it just makes it much more real, like when you have a story behind something. So adding this element of symbolism to your life really creates that opportunity for the story.
That's so interesting. I want to ask you for some advice actually,
Sure.
because I was at a 3-day mastermind for business content creation over the weekend. And one takeaway for me personally was the people there, many of them multimillionaires, hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube, Instagram. When I told them that I don't really share much of my personal story on Instagram, it's mainly just value, here's what to do in communication scenarios, they were shocked. They said, Shaka, tell us a little bit about your story. And I told
Yeah.
them about the social anxiety, growing up poor, this and that. And they were just, they couldn't believe that I haven't shared this story. So it is a little bit uncomfortable for me to do it. So it seems like you're fairly comfortable doing it. Have you always been comfortable sharing it, or was there a conscious decision behind sharing your story? What's the thought process behind that?
Well, I think, if you want to stand out of the crowd and you want people to remember you, people need to know who you are, down to your imperfections. Because people can see the end result. People look at it, all right, like here's the end result of who you created today. That's
Yeah.
all they fucking know. Like when you market Choco, they just know Choco today.
Yeah.
The refined version that took 30 plus years to refine over a long
Sure.
period of time. But it adds way more depth when they know the struggle that you had, the dead end jobs, the rejection from friends, from family, from females, from everybody, right?
Mm.
So that creates a sense of trust. And if you're vulnerable, like I don't care. Like if I tell somebody I was beat up in school, I was bullied, I worked at McDonald's, I had no girl wanted me, and you don't like me for that, then fuck you. Like I don't
You're not
really
my
care.
people in
I
that
don't really
case.
care. And you also now, what's really interesting, you have a lot of guys on Instagram who are catering their Instagram to make their Instagram look so cool. You meet them in person and they're
There's no
nothing like this.
substance.
There's no substance, but their Instagram looks like fucking James Bond. They delete all of the archived posts from 5 years ago, 10 years ago when they were struggling to show you and make you think that there's somebody really fantastic. And maybe they're okay. But 9 times out of 10, you meet these people and you're massively disappointed. So for me, I really lean into my past. I understand that it's an evolution and you want to show people the flaws, the stories, the good, the bad, and it creates a lot of trust.
What are some of your flaws and weaknesses?
Currently or in the past?
No.
Good question. Great question. Oh man. There's always something. Um Maybe I'm perfect. I don't know.
Typical.
Bald head. I don't know. Too confident. Oh man. Flaws. This is a hard one, man. Inconsistency sometimes. Ghosting.
With what?
Inconsistency with some things. When you have too many things at top of funnel, I have my attention is dwindled. I mean, I have a lot of people texting me, messaging me.
Mhm.
So I can not be as consistent with some things. Other flaws. Fuck man. Um,
Can I rephrase it?
yeah.
What would you say you struggle with most these days?
Struggle with most finding genuine people that you can share like normal day-to-day things with, because there's friends that you go out to dinner with, okay, but then like sometimes you just want to just, I don't know, play some cards or smoke a
Chill out.
cigar or I don't know, shoot some hoops or something, you know what I mean? This is hard. um
Like forming genuine connections.
Forming genuine connections, because as you make it to more success, I mean, I make millions, a lot. I mean, honestly, I make a fair amount, and I'm not one of these guys that's trying to tell you that I make a lot. The reality is that I've done very
It's
well
true,
for
yeah.
for
You have a
for, for
track
some
record.
time. And the more successful you become, the more closed off you become, and it takes a long time for people to break into your circle and your reality. So that's probably one of the hardest parts of success, is that you become much more closed off to other people, especially in a big city like a New York, a Dubai, a London.
What made you close off?
Past.
The past?
Yeah. Yeah.
People stabbing you in the back or betraying you, things like this?
But I had one of the hardest childhoods that anybody can have to go through. I was deeply abused for 10 years. I was basically lived in jail for 10 years of my life between the age of 8 to 18. I was adopted by my mom, remarried with a stepfather.
Mhm.
And for 10 years, every single day, I had somebody that not only would not wish me a happy birthday, nothing, but he would say, like, he, he he made me feel like shit for 10 years. Like, he was
Mm.
like, turn the fucking lights off, do this, like over like nothing for 10
Mm.
years. So I was living in deep fear, translated in school to, bad behavior, getting bullied, no positive role model, no self-confidence at all. Um, so this created that fire in me that one day I want to leave all this. I want freedom. I want to feel free.
Mm.
And that fire led to much more. But now, I mean, even as I've grown, I mean, I've been betrayed, stabbed in the back. I've had friends that you've trusted, you build like so much with, and then they leave your life. I'd say that's one of the most hard pains a man can experience, and I'm sure you probably feel the same. One of the hardest pains that any man can experience is somebody that you spent a lot of time, invested a lot of our energy, attention, and also our heart into,
Mm.
and them leaving your life is one of the most difficult pains a man can go through. So for now, at this point in life, I'm very cautious about who I let in because I don't want to experience that pain again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And thanks for sharing that with me. From 8 to 18, if you don't mind me asking,
Yeah.
was that your father?
Yeah. That was my stepdad.
Or was your stepdad? Your
Stepdad. Yeah.
stepdad. Got
Yeah.
it. Got it. And it was just being very abusive and it sounds like emotionally abusive.
Emotional. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got it. Got
Exactly.
it. And those are the years where you're extremely uh susceptible
Yes.
and vulnerable
Yes.
to influence, and that can absolutely destroy your confidence, right? So, but you're a very confident man, and I can tell. And I can tell you're not perfect, just like me. You're humble, you're very, very open-minded, and you're extremely self-aware. This is one of the first things I noticed about you, by the way. When we met on the yacht, I noticed that you were deeply, deeply self-aware. And you want to know how I noticed?
Yeah. I'm curious.
When you showed me a picture of that walking stick, and I thought it was a duck, not an eagle, and you burst out laughing because that shows a healthy level of emotional intelligence when you can laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest signs. When you laugh,
Yeah.
I swear to God, bro, that's what made me realize that we're gonna be good buddies.
Yeah.
When you could laugh at yourself, I'm like, I'm gonna love this guy,
Oh,
man.
for
Like
sure.
he has a good sense of humor.
For sure.
So when did this journey start for you where you just turned around all that trauma that you had into the man that you are today? Did anything trigger it?
Yeah, I mean, it was this never-ending belief that one day you need to get freedom. Like it's like get rich or
So it
die
was a get out of
trying. Get
pain.
free or die trying.
It was an avoidance of pain rather than a
Yes.
pursuit of pleasure for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
And and I've done this throughout my life in many occasions, and I give this advice to, anybody watching, that if there's any area of your life or any people in your life that don't really truly suit you, just bounce, just fucking leave.
I
It,
say that all the
it's
time.
so easy, and we
Yeah.
make it so difficult. And the first thing I had to do was leaving that house when I was 18, 19. I just moved to a different state and moved to college, moved to university, and started with a clean slate, new influences. So that's my
Best decision.
the best fucking thing. Like, and so many people, I don't understand people that stay in the same city the entire life.
I don't get that either.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's
Why
like,
would you?
why?
Yeah, you're just staying in the same box. You're
I,
caging yourself.
it's like people that like, and then I give this advice too for young people. It's like if your friends aren't talking about, if you're poor and your friend and you want to become rich, if you're poor and you want to become rich and your friends aren't talking about making money, why aren't you looking for new friends?
Yeah.
Why aren't you going out and trying to get a new friend circle?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that belief of okay, knowing that I was here, this is where I wanted to go, and what do I have to remove to get closer to my goal, right?
Mm.
So I had to do a lot of removing in terms of people, influences, location, all these different things. Moved to Florida for university, and then
Got it.
started the process.
All right. All right. And by the way, moving away from a friend circle doesn't mean you're judging them. It
Yeah,
doesn't mean that, you believe you're better than them. I have friends back in Australia who I love to death. Like I still consider them brothers, but they have a completely different vision of success than I do. And if I stick around that, I'm just going to have the same lifestyle that they do, which I
right.
choose not to. You have to be very conscious. How did people start treating you differently, if they did at all, when you started to make money?
Like, at what stage? At what stage do you mean?
Once people realize, okay, this guy makes a lot of money and you're
Mm.
making more than the friends that you had, because I'm sure there was a moment where there was a big gap
Yeah, the
between.
last few years has been the biggest gap.
Okay, did you notice people treating you differently once that
Yeah,
started happening?
yeah.
How so?
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I mean, it at every stage, but especially now, where I mean, even in Dubai, I'm doing very well, and people, you can sense, I can sense who's truly authentic, and I can sense who has some kind of agenda mixed in with the conversation, or like
Mm,
there's a sales pitch, or there's a and or a but, or there's something coming in. Yeah,
mm,
so you started to feel it. So yeah, when you have resources, the self awareness is so fucking important.
mm,
This ability to sense what's going on inside you, but also who's truly your friend and who's truly not. And that's why you also have good friends around you, right?
mm,
You have people around you that can sniff in a second. You go to dinner,
mm.
your girl or maybe your wife or your, sort of close friends, they can spot also for you, hey, who's about it, who's not, right?
Yeah.
So I have that sense of awareness, but also, my closest people, you know what I mean? Like they're looking out for me as well. So, like for example, let's say I go to, with my woman, I go to dinner and someone's giving me some weird
It's fine.
energy. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it's cool.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Thank you. If I go to dinner and I get, someone's giving some weird energy and I didn't pick up on it, I'm gonna get that information from my woman or from somebody else.
Did your dating life change?
Yeah, a lot more top of funnel. Um, but the biggest thing is, I think for me now, it's really interesting. Is I used to really want the attention and pursue and try to get women,
Mm,
and now I just don't care. I just show up, and then just they just come. Like I'm not even trying, but you can sense the energy. So that's certainly shifted a lot.
mm. Got it.
Yeah.
Interesting. And you have a very unorthodox approach to many, many things in your life. For
Thank you.
example, you like to be, you're welcome. And that's definitely a compliment these days. For example, I know that you're one of the men who is into polygamous relationships rather than monogamous. Did your success influence that at all, or have you always wanted to have multiple women?
Yeah. No, good question. I mean, I wish I could just be attracted to the same girl forever and just have the same woman like forever. I really wish it was this way. I mean, obviously you try it out, right? You see, what works for you. But for me, honestly, brother, I've tried it. I've tried the one girl relationship, never have sex with anybody else. And over time, you start to have these thoughts, and then over time, you start to feel the desire grows and grows and grows.
Mm.
So yeah, it had nothing to do with success. It's just against my nature. Honestly,
I really think
I
it's in
feel
the
like a fucking coward. I'm
yeah.
dead ass serious. I feel like a fucking coward by going against my absolute nature
Mm.
in the world.
That's
So
interesting.
my nature is dedicated is says no, I'm attracted to multiple women and this is just how it is.
Yep.
So I feel very like weak and going against my nature. No matter what society says, 99%, 99 out of 100 people will tell you, "Oh, that's wrong. You shouldn't be thinking about that." Well, that your opinions are great. And I appreciate your opinions. I also know my reality. I know
Mm.
nature, and I'm
Be
fighting
self-aware.
against nature by doing that.
I really think it's in the DNA and it depends on the man, because I know many, many men, myself included, who cannot even picture themselves being with multiple women because they have certain devotion to one and they're totally satisfied with that. But I also know many men like yourself who it's simply against their nature to be with one woman. And it
Yes.
makes sense. I really do believe it depends on the man, because even in Islam,
Correct.
you're permitted to have up to 4 wives. So it can and is in the nature of some men, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
But it should be based on achievement, brother. I mean, look, like this is really comes down to achievement. If you genuinely are that guy, and
Exactly.
this is just the way it is. The
There's
rules
also
are
a lot
different.
of guys who, sorry to interrupt, but there's also a lot of guys who say they want it, but they don't freaking deserve
Yes.
having multiple women
Anybody
around.
can listen to a freaking like Andrew Tate or something like this and try to say, yeah, like I want 3 girlfriends, and I'm like, well, do you have the receipts, brother?
Yeah.
Are you
Can you
actually,
provide for them?
can you provide for that? And also, can they smell it on you?
Mm,
They know if you're about it. Like
mm,
any girl that I'm with all due respect, they love me
mm,
because they sense, wow, like this is a real man. I get to dictate the terms respectfully. I never ever would ever hurt a girl and never make a false promise that I couldn't commit to. And
I believe
also
that.
my plan with full conviction is to keep my woman for life.
Mm,
They're
I love
happy
that.
for life and set for life. But they feel when they're around a real man. But a lot of guys will watch videos online, and that's well and good. Their aspiration is to have that, but they haven't put in the work to
But they don't
become that.
deserve it. With you, you stood out to me in terms of a polygamous man, because every time we've gone out and when I've seen you interact with people and have a woman next to you, you have a lot of respect, which is something else that I deeply admire about you, which is why it's very easy for me to call you my friend,
Absolutely.
because you're a man of respect, and respect is very important to you. You don't even need to tell me that. I can tell it's
Yes.
important for you. And I can tell that that actually translates to your dating life as well. So you don't strike me as the kind of guy who just wants to be an F boy and have as many women
Yeah.
as possible for your ego, but rather, yep, I'm gonna have this woman. For example, your girlfriend right now, like you've been with her for a few months loyally, and you've been transparent with her as well about these things. What do you think? What is it that? What's your biggest pet peeve about men these days in modern society? What is it that turns you off in men?
Mm, a lot. A lot,
I
bro.
bet. I
It's a
bet. That's why
lot.
I'm
It's
asking.
like how much time do we have for this podcast?
Exactly.
I
And
can
in
give you
fact,
like a 3 hour special here.
while you answer that, I'm just going to pull up some questions that some of our viewers have pulled up as
Yeah,
well.
please do.
We do read your messages, guys.
Is this live?
No, it's not live,
Yeah.
but the questions are live.
I, okay, guys, honest question. If you were a customs agent and we both showed up to the airport, who would you think is more suspicious looking?
Unbelievable. We look like the same dude, bro.
No, your
We look like
your
the
appearance
same
is way
guy.
worse than mine. If you're a customs agent and you had to look at his passport and mine and my photo and his, who would you think is more suspicious and probably has some kind of contraband?
You know what? I don't blame you. I have this photo. This is my driver's license photo. Can we? You know, we'll put this on the screen, Lana. Lana, add this to the screen. It is shocking. It is shocking. I do. You know what? I stopped getting stopped
Right.
at airports
You look like a member of like the Taliban.
once I started dressing better and having better body language. I literally stopped getting stopped
Nice.
at airports. But thank you for saying that. I really do appreciate it.
Anytime.
So there you go. I asked you a question.
All right. So biggest pet peeve in men. Man, is a lot. It is a lot. People that just don't have. I mean, I think comes down to just respect, right? It's line of respect. You leave the table and maybe some guy tries to talk to your girl, low key, or um, just indecency and lack of respect, lack of self awareness. People that talk too much. Oh fuck, we talked about this just yesterday on your post. People that talk way too much, and it all comes down to what? Respect. Somebody that talks way too much doesn't respect your time. So people that don't have this sense
Social intelligence.
of respect, yes, in various forms.
It's a lack of social intelligence, brother.
Yeah.
Like we do speaking gigs every now and then. I know you've done a few.
Yeah.
Every time you do a speaking gig, especially if it's like a free event or a very cheap event, not a high level mastermind, the way that people approach you and ask you questions afterwards, it's just wild. I had an event
Facts.
a while ago where after it was a free event. At the end of my talk, some guy came up to me. He asked me a question about communication. Fair enough. I'm a communication coach, communication expert. But as I was talking, he pulled out a notepad and he started writing and taking notes and then asking me more questions. Didn't even acknowledge that he's taking my time or anything. I was happy to share it, by the way. But I didn't like his approach. And you see this all the time. Now, do you think I'm going to connect with a guy like
No.
this? Imagine, like, for example, when you meet somebody for the first time, imagine I asked you a million questions about your business just because I want to see how you made your money. Like, how did you make the money? Teach me the trick about how to make the money, Adam. And then I'm like, how can I apply that to my business? What do you think is the best sales funnel for me, Adam? And I'm just leeching off it. Yeah, yeah. Like when I asked you the questions, I was genuinely curious about you and your journey. I was more interested in you,
Yeah.
not your money, right?
Right.
And that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because at your level, you obviously want friends who provide value,
Yes.
but that value doesn't always have to be business and financial. So how can somebody provide value to you outside of the financial?
Yeah. Yeah. So the common answers, the common answers is loyalty and trust. And I think this is the base, right? If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you have a pyramid, the same for close friends, right? There's a needs pyramid of friends. Now, at the very base of that is trust and loyalty. So that person's not going to snake you. That person's not going to steal your money, steal your girl, da 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 da. Right? That's kind of a given. That's like the base.
It is a given.
That's a core of the pyramid. And I have good friends and I have acquaintances that I have that with. Now,
That's a good distinction.
that's a good distinction of acquaintance and very close friend.
Yep.
Now, for a very close friend, this is something that takes not only that, but also other values, and you have to mix in some time. It takes time to build these
True.
these things as well. But absolutely somebody that you can just be yourself with.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the outward Shako or Adam. You can just be yourself. Be a goofball, be fun, be silly, whatever. Just be your freaking normal self.
Yeah.
People who aren't afraid to tell you straight. I think every single good relationship at some point is tested, and I actually enjoy when it's tested, whether it's, a fight with my woman or with my friend. That test is the perfect fertilizer for building it much stronger. And when it's tested multiple times,
What do you mean by test, though?
a test is
Conflict?
a conflict. Yeah.
Mm.
A disagreement, something. When that happens, you have two choices. You either leave, never speak to that person again, or you make some understanding and you build an extra solid brick to that pyramid that builds it more stronger in the later stages. So I think conflict is important.
It tells a lot
building.
about a person.
Yeah, it tells a lot on both sides. Is that for the one person, do they have the courage to tell you straight? Because I respect someone who will tell me something. And also, do they have the other person, how is it received? Is it understood? Is that person's emotional pattern understood, or whatever the case may be? Especially with women, it's a bit different. It's very important. That's, I think, very important. And then also, adding some kind of value, like, for example, I asked my woman, hey, like, think about things that I need before I need them, right? Like,
Yeah. Be considerate, be thoughtful.
And a good friend is always trying to tee up opportunities and think of you to add something. And yeah, I mean, just being fun as well, and somebody, a pleasure to be around without draining energy.
Yeah, that's true. I personally think that's one of the best and easiest ways, not even easy, just one of the most authentic ways to build relationships and add value as well.
Yeah.
It's by providing positive emotions, by providing a good experience when you're with somebody. If somebody can relax around you, feel like they can be themselves
Yeah.
and laugh and have a good time and not feel like they have to perform, you're going to be memorable in their eyes, especially at this level, because so many people have money, bro. So many people can invite you to a podcast and try to build a business relationship. But somebody who you can imagine yourself, as you said, playing cards with or playing board games, just chilling out, maybe even catching a movie together, some
Yeah.
shit like that. That is how you build genuine friendships. And I noticed when I moved to Dubai, I made a lot of acquaintances, and maybe I gave my trust a little bit too early in the first maybe month or two that I was here, and I realized, you know what, I shouldn't have given my trust as quickly as I did for this person, and it bites you in the back a little bit. Whereas now I make that separation between acquaintance and
Correct.
friend,
Correct.
and there's nothing wrong with that, by the
Correct.
way. There's nothing wrong at all with saying, "Oh, yeah, this is a good acquaintance of mine. We're not quite friends yet, but maybe we'll get to that as
Yeah.
well."
I'll label it as a friend, but deep down I know it's an acquaintance.
Yeah, sure,
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
And it's about those boundaries
Yes.
that you're having as well.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Even this doesn't feel like a podcast because we're friends. Like the reality, we're friends, and it doesn't feel like a podcast. One really good way that if you really want to build a true friendship with someone is invite them on an experience. So
Mm,
like do something hard together, go climb a mountain together, go on a trip together, do something out of the ordinary. Like go to dinner is kind of boring, right? Doing the same shit. But if you actually have an incredible experience together, a shared personal experience amplifies the strength of that relationship.
I like that. That's good. On that note, I'm gonna tie that to this question that we have, which is really good actually. It says, "What are core psychological principles that you follow that has helped you gain this success?"
1 second. Psychological principles. For me, I think that at the bottom of it, and then I guess the top of it is continuous involvement, evolving continuously the person you are, right? So every single year, seeing a newer version of that same person in the mirror, but different, but better, sharper, stronger, faster, knowing more things. And if I'm not evolving, I'm literally dying.
I'm
I'm
exactly
fucking
the
dying
same.
inside. And
That's
I
my
want
biggest
this
fear.
evolution to just be cool, just consistent. But if you feel like yourself going down, you feel yourself dying. So yeah, just constant evolution of the character inside is one of the most important things in life that really creates happiness. It's not the fucking Ferrari. I have an 812 Ferrari, super fast, whatever. I have three incredible cars, all the luxuries, all the coolest shit. But that pales in comparison to this person being a better human being next month than I am today.
Guys, we gotta clip that one. How are you different to Adam Nasir in 2024 today?
Very different, completely different. Every year is a completely different version of me. And this is why we use this animal. This is why I love this animal, the eagle. Because this animal is every like it's like 5, 10 years, it rips out its feathers, its own like talons and
Is
its
that right?
feathers. It rips it out and goes out in hibernation and builds brand new. So yeah, for me, I'm a lot richer this year. I was doing very well last year, but now I'm doing much, much better. Much more aware. A lot of skills, built a lot of different skills in different areas. I'm hiring the best coaches and random shit, swimming,
Why do you
jazz.
hire coaches?
Shortcut the trajectory of growth of learning.
That's why you guys should buy from me. Quick plug.
Honestly, yeah. Like, why learn it yourself? Like, why go on YouTube and learn it yourself when you have someone that knows exactly the like steps to take and also what not to do, right?
Mm.
So if you have somebody who's proven and a proven mentor like yourself, of course, like that's one of the smartest decisions you can make. But also, while we're talking about that, you know, vet the person, right? Like, how are they? Is that person the real fucking deal,
Yeah.
right? Like you're doing these podcasts, maybe you're some dope and you have like your freaking big Louis Vuitton shirt here and a freaking I don't know, like a rented Lambo. You know what I mean? Like, are you the real deal?
Are they talking
How
are they
you're
walking the talk? Yeah.
interacting? You're a communications coach. How's Shaka's how's your posture now? That I would judge that at a high level, right? So people can sense that, and yeah. So especially when you're hiring a coach or somebody who's more experienced, do they have the receipts and do they walk the walk?
Mm.
So I'm
Very
really
important.
doing that a lot in my own skills acquisition. And I promise you, you feel so fucking good when
Yeah.
you're learning, you're getting better, and you're learning from somebody else. It becomes a lot of fun because especially when you trust a person and there's someone fun to be
It becomes fun.
around,
Yeah.
it becomes fun.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. I love that, man. I realize we massively have that in common. Not the coaching, investing in yourself side of thing, definitely that. But the fact that you said that every year you're a different man, that is exactly the same for me.
Yeah.
Shako last year, you wouldn't recognize him, brother. And I doubt I'd recognize you last year as well.
I'd recognize that nose though.
That nose and the beard, the Taliban beard. Get the hell out of here, bro. But that is genuinely my biggest fear. It's staying the same. If I'm in the same position next year, something went horribly wrong.
Yes.
You recently climbed a freaking mountain,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. What motivated you to do that? That was so funny because we literally had dinner the night before.
Yeah. Smoking shisha.
Shisha.
Yeah.
The next day, you're like, "Yep, going to Kilimanjaro."
Yeah.
What was the thought process behind that?
All right, so I'm a man. I mean, business is doing very well. I'm retired. I have all the free time in the world, all the luxuries that most people want. You know, I have all the supercars, all the doing everything that
Alhamdulillah.
everything is good. And I'm sitting there. I woke up one morning. I'm sitting on my balcony. I'm smoking a cigarette. I'm like, what the fuck is next? Like, what do I do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm really trying to figure out what's next. So you know what I
That's so
realized
interesting.
is I wanted to get in touch with that badass motherfucker inside. You want to get in touch with that motherfucker inside that took to build all of what you have. So I want to ask myself, do I still got it? Am I still a bad motherfucker? I need to prove it to myself. So I go on Grok AI and I ask it, hey, find me a challenging adventure. I need to leave Dubai. Find me a challenging adventure I can go on this week and really push myself for 1 week and something out of Dubai. And it says, go climb Mount Kilimanjaro. It's difficult and it's going to take 7-8 days, but I think you can do this. I said, fuck it, book a ticket, buy $4,000 worth of climbing gear. Never climbed a mountain before.
So your first time.
No hesitation. Boom, went after it. So same night, go to Kilimanjaro, and and not only that, I was on the mountain a day later. I chose one of the hardest paths. I did it in half the fucking time. It was supposed to be 7-8 days. He did it in 4.5. I did it without these. You're supposed to have these sticks, these
Yeah.
walking sticks.
Yeah.
2 of them on the summit night, which the story was fucking crazy. I gotta tell you the fucking story. It's so good.
Tell us.
All right. So the summit day, basically like every day you're walking like 10, 12 kilometers up and down. You sleep in a tent. You hire a team from Africa to guide you through. And summit day, we wake up 6 in the morning.
What does summit day mean?
So the day that you summit. So
The
basically,
day that you start the trek.
yeah, the
Got
day
it.
you go to there's a base camp.
Yep.
And then after base camp, there's the summit.
Okay.
Right. So we start in one of the lower camps. This is like day 3 or day 4. Day 4. Day 4, we start on one of the lower camps, and it's about 6 in the morning. We wake up. I hike about 12 kilometers. So
Oh wow.
get to the base camp by 4 p.m. To base camp at 4 p.m. And my coach says, hey, at midnight tonight, we're going to climb for the summit. And the summit is the hardest part. So get some sleep, get some food. It's 4 p.m. Get some food, get some sleep, and I'll see you at midnight. So I have a quick snack, go to my tent, and I'm trying to sleep, and I can't. The elevation at base camp is so fucking high. It's like 4,500 meters or
Oh
something like this
wow.
up. So we've already climbed all the way near the top.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to sleep, I can't. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll go without. So 12 o'clock hits. I barely slept. And, I'm like, all right, cool. Let's chug some coffee. Let's do this. So we start walking. And I remember just step by step, focusing step by step, not really looking at the mountain. You can't really see much anyway, but you're just looking one step at a time, second by second. And time started to not exist. And this is one of the key takeaways I learned from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro with no advance notice is to not look at that end goal, not look at that end destination all the time. You have it in the back of your mind, but all you're looking at is that next one step in front of you,
Wow.
not
Just
the
present.
peak.
You're not looking at the peak, you're looking at the next step in front
You
of
know
you.
how fucking intimidating it is to look up and you see this massive thing you have to climb at all times. You're looking here, you're fucked. You're messing up your mentality. And the same in business.
Mm.
If you're looking at somebody else who's a billionaire and you have 10 grand in the account, they're gonna be like, where do I start?
Mm.
Where is it?
You
Where
think
do
it
I
just it
start?
makes it too intimidating?
It's too intimidating when you're climbing a mountain like that. So focusing on just the next step, one at a time, one at a time. And before you know it, you look back 20 minutes later and you're like, holy shit, damn, I cleared a lot of space, like a lot of distance, and time stops existing. So that's, I think, one of the biggest learned lessons I learned from climbing Kilimanjaro with no notice. Now, as I did it, I told the instructor, he's like, I want to do it with my full gear and I want to do the summit with no walking sticks. So I want to do it on hard mode. Additionally, I didn't know this, but I was using these socks. I had an ankle injury and I had these compression socks, which compress your ankle. And they're like high socks. I used two of them and I didn't know this, but they were basically, it's almost like tying a rope around your calf. So imagine climbing a mountain at the absolute summit
Restricting some blood.
and restricting blood. I've already walked 12 kilometers in the morning and I'm walking up more with 30 minutes sleep and you're restricting blood with no sticks. So I did it in full hard mode. Walked from 12, about 1 o'clock we left, got there to about 7:30 in the morning, right in time for sunrise. And it was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. And the sense of honest confidence, brother, the confidence that you have, knowing that, proving to yourself that you're this person that you believe you are. But when I look myself in the mirror, I know who I am. And it's not arrogance. Arrogance is something very different. When you know you have the receipts, you know you are that man, you're like, all right, you walk different. You feel different about yourself.
Mm.
So this is purely not only building a mountain, but building that respect for yourself, and everything else will follow. The business will follow, the friends will follow, the women will follow, because you earned that right to be that man, that woman, and then everything else comes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's deep.
That is so
Deep.
inspiring,
It's
man.
deep, bro.
I mean, climbing a mountain is such a beautiful physical representation of literally hitting a peak,
Yeah.
right? And there'll be more peaks beyond that as well.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, well done, man. That is
Thank you.
incredible. And the difference between, you mentioned arrogance and confidence. I believe arrogance is the man that walks with his chin up, talking about how he's going to climb the mountain.
Yeah.
But confidence is the man who's at the top of the mountain just smiling and nodding to himself. And that's it, because he's the one that did it.
Yeah.
And you're proving to yourself, you're building self-trust. I think that's because we talk about building confidence a lot in my program. And I think that's one of the ways that anyone can really build a strong sense of self-esteem, which is having difficult goals that you achieve, because that builds self-trust.
Yes.
After doing that, you're gonna walk different, man.
Yes.
That is absolutely, and the fact that you now have these stories, that just adds more richness to your life,
Mm.
because it's not just, hey, here's a financial richness that I have. This is the character building
Correct.
richness
Correct.
in the process.
And these are stories, brother. These are stories you tell your kids one day. Imagine like, my tour guide was telling me about a guy who climbed to the very top, and 200 meters before the summit, he quit. And he called his wife to say, "Hey, baby, I need to go home. Can you book me a ticket?" If I told my woman that, I would hope she leaves me. It's like, the fuck is wrong with you? It's just it's like, this is how respect is earned, bro. This is how respect is earned. Respect from other people, but most importantly, respect from ourselves, right? And same for you. You've done, I'm sure, some very challenging things in your life, but this is a perpetual process. You have to fucking prove it to yourself. And when you feel like at some point you're getting comfort, when you feel comfort, that's when you have to assess, hey, I need to snap it together and get some understand who I am.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's it's a self-awareness thing. So it goes back to self-awareness. Do you feel like, okay, like I'm getting in the comfort? If I'm getting too comfortable for too long, we got to go back out and hunt and kill.
What are some habits, thoughts, or patterns that you strictly do not tolerate with yourself or behaviors?
Myself. Mm. Yeah, I mean, there's a few. I mean, I try not to do things that make me worse. I mean, obviously, we all have our bad patterns. Sometimes maybe I drink every now and then, or have a cigarette every now and then. But certainly don't do any. Masturbation is one that a lot of young people struggle with. I can't remember the last time I've done that. Um, I don't let myself get consumed too much.
Mm.
So when for many young people, anyone listening, is if you're driving a car, you might veer off the road a little bit, but seeing when you veer off and not allowing yourself to go completely off the rails,
Yeah.
right? So I might have a binge crazy night with my boys every now and then. Like now, it's far and few in between nowadays. But if I go absolutely crazy one day, maybe even two, then I'm like, all right, back on the road, back on the gym, back on my stuff, right?
Yeah.
Most people will let that lead into day three, day four, and then maybe they might try some Coke or might try something else, and they're way off track.
Yeah.
So self-awareness to know when you're off track, and then when they get back on.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. And what's next for you, brother?
Good question. At this point, I mean, when you've achieved a lot, you've already done so much. It's just having kids.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm ready to have some kids
Oh,
and
wow.
kids and dogs.
Would you get married?
I'm open to it. Yeah.
You open to it?
Oh, I mean, it's illegal. It's a formality. It's it's more of a formality and a public celebration, right?
Yeah.
So I'm.
I actually don't mean the legal side of things. I mean the spiritual union.
Mm.
Is that something that's important for you?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a commitment to tell someone that I'm with them for the rest of my life, if
Yeah.
that's how we define marriage
Mm.
and a public celebration of that, then yes.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna be rocking up to your wedding.
Okay,
I'll be a wedding crasher.
absolutely.
I'm assuming I'm not invited.
I'm sure your nose will crash my wedding.
100%. My nose will be there before I will, bro.
I'm trying to figure out who has a bigger nose, you or
I'll,
this eagle.
very nice. You see, that's how I know he's a good friend. He's just absolutely destroying them, which I love. It's amazing. Kids, that's cool, man. That's interesting. And hmm,
Yeah, I mean, there's a million things we can talk about. I mean, how we scaled to, you know, the company, multiple passports, renouncing U.S. citizenship. I mean, you name it. I mean, I've done a lot of shit in my life. Very, very eclectic life.
yeah. I think we should definitely do a part two of this as well because you renounced your US citizenship.
Yes,
You retired at 35. You've scaled the business to over $1 million a month and
with more than 50% profit.
with more than 50% profit, which is wild, bro.
Yeah,
Wild.
I work a whopping 2.5 hours a week. It's too much, man.
2.5 hours a week.
It's a lot.
That's tough, man.
Yeah, it's tough
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, you need to delegate
Yeah,
a few more things.
yeah, working too much, brother.
I feel.
Need some more coffee.
Adam, I want to keep this one short and sweet for the guys as a taste for you because I want to leave them hanging on a cliffhanger for part two. We'll definitely do it because we're both in Dubai as well.
Yeah.
But I just want to say thank you so much for your time today, man. If
Yeah.
anyone wants to follow your journey, I'll put his Instagram in the description. It's Life with Nas, Nas. Any final words for the audience?
Never give up. Honestly, never give up and just always improve. And just don't compare yourself to everybody else out there. If you're watching this and you're looking at the guys that have the Lambos and the Ferraris and you're still starting out, that's okay. As long as if you're here today and tomorrow, next month, you're seeing a progress, that's perfectly fine. The material will come, and believe me, once you get it, you'll realize it's not as valuable as you thought it was. So progress trumps anything else. Just become a better human than you were before, and find proven mentors, find real proven mentors who can help you elevate, that have the skills that you don't have, that you like, that you trust, that you want to work with, and work with them. And I promise you, you'll find some results.
There you go, guys. You heard it here first. And don't focus on the peak, focus on the step right in front of you. Beautiful, brother. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Absolutely, bro.
Appreciate you. Amazing.